Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of My Life is a Mess. I actually decided to do summer school, but where I go to school with summer school, it's term A or term B or the whole thing, and I chose term A, which means I have basically a 12-week course smashed into 4.5 weeks. So I have no time to do anything, including clean my bedroom or do my nails. This is like, these are continents. Like, this is not appropriate. Just kidding, this is not an episode of that. Today, I'm actually gonna do tips for going natural. I have 16 tips for going natural, and these are things that I found helped me, and I wanted to share them with you guys. Tip number 1, reduce heat. If you are trying to go natural for the health of your hair, it's probably a really bad idea to straighten your hair and straighten your new growth and damage what's new and what's old, which can easily cause more breakage. Now, some of you might be saying as you're transitioning and you're using heat, when I say heat, I really just mean like straightener or curling iron. Blow drying your hair every now and then is probably not going to be the end of the world. But you will probably start to see that your hair is not growing. You are losing length at the bottom of your hair because it is breaking off. I did this. I used a lot of heat while I was transitioning, and I now have heat damage, which irritates me, but it's not like a huge problem with me because I don't like to wear my hair out anymore for other reasons that are in my video previous to this, which is, I don't know. What was it? Oh, it's like an update, hair update, and it's about single-stranded knots and stuff like that. I did this and it did definitely break my hair. What happens is you have new strong hair coming in, and then you have old weak hair that has been relaxed, and it is weaker. That relaxed hair is a lot more fragile, and so it's more easy for that weak part to just break away from the strong part. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a hairstylist, this is just what I have learned through trial, error, and research. Tip number 2, moisturize your hair daily. Try to anyway. Every other day is probably fine. I like to moisturize my hair daily. This is because curly hair needs a lot more, it's not a word. This is because curly hair needs a lot more moisture than straight hair. That is probably obvious to some of you. Our natural oils that come from here have a harder time getting to the end of our hair or moisturizing our hair because we do have a harder route. Our curls are like a little roundabout for the oils to travel down, so it's harder and it's easier for straight hair. That's why we need to moisturize our ends. My favorite is Cantu Shea Butter, and I lock it in with some organic coconut oil. It is my holy grail. Tip number 3 is to use protective styles. Protective styles can be a pain in the butt to do, but like throughout the week when you're done with them and they've dried and you take them out, it's so much easier to handle your hair. It's also good because it can mean for the rest of the week you have low manipulation styles, which means you're not really doing a lot to make your hair look good in more or less words. So that can, you know, reduce breakage because you're not messing with your hair every single day. You're just kind of braiding it in the beginning of the week, wearing it throughout the rest of the week. And as I mentioned before, you have 2 different textures, so you want to be careful with those. So low manipulation styles for the rest of the week is great. I don't know if you can see. You can't. But my cat is in here. You can see her head. She's driving me insane. This is Zane's cat, if any of you are wondering. Tip number 4, play with your hair. Like, I mean, not just like dig your hands in your hair and create all these knots. I mean, experiment with a little bit, kind of play around with it so that you don't get bored. Come up with new styles. I personally don't like headbands, and I also don't like braiding this part of my hair back. I'm out of focus. I also don't like braiding that part back. Sometimes I'm okay with it, but most days I'm not okay with it, and that's just because headbands, and some headbands, not all headbands, and braids, like when I braid my bangs, make me feel like a child. Now box braids, I don't mind, but that's why I love protective styles. So when I have a braid out, or if you have a twist out, which I am not good at doing, it is just so much easier to work with your hair. That way you can play with your styles throughout the week, but be careful, don't mess up that braid out because it's so easy to do. Tip number 5, find your staple hairstyles. Now this is one of mine. A bun is also another one, high bun or a low bun. Another one I like to do is to wear my hair down and pin my bangs back up here with like one of those little butterfly clips. Not literally a butterfly, but I think that's what they're called, or just bobby pins. So when you are getting frustrated because you can't find a hairstyle that you like, aside from the ones that you already like, that way when you wake up in the morning and you're in a hurry and you want to go somewhere, you can actually do that hairstyle really quickly and you won't feel like you have to spend 20 minutes doing your hair. What are you doing? Why don't you just go up there? Okay, moving on. Tip number 6, listen to when your hair needs water. Pay attention to that. Your hair products might have water in them and everything like that, and that is good. That's why you kind of want to moisturize every day. I will kill you. So I can usually go days without adding any extra water in my hair. Like I can just put in some Cantu shea butter or something like that, because water is one of the first ingredients. But my hair starts to get really matted and dry towards the ends if I don't just completely saturate my hair in water. Therefore, I do wet my hair completely in the shower 2 times a week. I also wash my hair 2 times a week, and I know that most people probably don't do that who are subscribed to me. But I forgot where I was going with that. Yeah, so listen to when your hair needs water. After a couple days, mine starts begging me pretty much. Tip number 7, do not neglect your scalp. Although it's very important to have nourished and healthy ends of your hair, you cannot forget that healthy hair does grow from a healthy scalp. So kind of like listening to when your hair needs water, listen to when your scalp wants to be cleansed. Now, I know that there are some people who are like, well, your hair is addicted to shampoo and you have to train your scalp and everything like that. I personally don't mind washing my hair twice a week. I love the feeling of it. I love the smell of it, everything like that. It doesn't bother me. This also includes things like adding some extra oil to your scalp, like tea tree oil. I add tea tree oil to my scalp twice a week, every time I do a fresh braid out, which is when I wash my hair. Do little massages on your scalp if it starts to feel a little bit tense from your braids or something like that. Tip number 8, experience with different detangling methods. Finger combing or finger detangling didn't really work for me. I got a lot of single-stranded knots and I just couldn't figure out a method within that finger detangling method that actually worked for me. But with a lot of conditioner and a paddle brush, I can really do a lot of damage in the shower with little shedding. It's great. When I say do a lot of damage, I mean like I can knock it out really quickly. I'm not really doing damage to my hair. Tip number 9, do not let someone tell you what to do to your hair. Always take suggestions, say thank you, but do what you think is right. If I listened to people out there who told me what I should be doing with my hair and how I should be treating it and yada yada yada, some things were helpful, absolutely. I love to hear everyone's opinion. Just try to figure out what's right for you. Of course, you cannot do this without experimenting, but just don't let someone tell you like you should really cut off your ends, or something like you should really stop dyeing your hair. Like little things like that that make you happy, it doesn't even matter. Like why does that person care? With that said, you are going to find things that might work for somebody else but will not work for you. I encourage you just to keep trying, keep pushing, don't give up. If someone gives you advice and you think that they might know better than you, and you try it and you're like, well, if it doesn't work for me, then I'm just gonna fail at everything. No, because something is gonna work for you. Do not give up. I promise you the journey is annoying, but it's so worth it at the end. I mean, seriously, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, yeah, I love my natural hair and I love being in tune with my natural self, but like, my God, it is just a piece of work and I love it. But I mean, braid out seriously saved my life. I'm just saying. Tip number 11, you will see this in my updated braid out routine tutorial. Try to take away as much friction from your ends as possible. So instead of using rubber bands, a lovely subscriber gave me this suggestion on my old braid out video and told me to use clips or something like that instead of rubber bands, because rubber bands do add a lot of friction and I use them all the time. I use bobby pins now. My hair does not coil up in the front. It does in the back. It does not coil up in the front. So I definitely have to use bobby pins at least until my hair is mostly dry, and then I can take them out and let it dry the rest of the way. Tip number 12. Now remember, this is just a tip. And earlier I told you not to listen to people just because you think they know better than you, or, you know, opinions are always welcome, but some things might not work for you. What I experienced, okay, let me just tell you, I didn't cut my hair a lot when I was transitioning. I was slowly transitioning. I didn't do the big chop or anything like that. That's fine. However, I didn't cut what was completely dead. I didn't cut what was really unhealthy, and that kind of bit me in the donkey after a while. So I really just encourage you to cut what's dead. And that doesn't mean you have to do a huge big chop. That means you can, every 2 months or every 3 months, you can get another inch cut off or something like that. I'm only saying that because it's hard to retain length if your ends continue breaking off. And then you wonder where all your length is going and why your hair is not growing. Although you have roots, you got natural roots, but your hair is staying at the same length. If you're on a hair journey for healthier hair, it only makes sense to cut it at least little by little. Tip number 13, find inspiration. My inspiration when I began going natural was Stacey Hash, not Stacey Dash, Stacey Hash. Now it's getting easier, but a while ago it was harder to find people of inspiration who have natural hair, curly hair, who are really embracing it. It's just easier to go natural if you have someone to relate to or to look up to. And that goes with anything in life, I think. With that said, find realistic inspirations. I mean, I can't look at someone who has a very fine texture and a very loose curl pattern and say, oh my gosh, I want to go natural. No, that's not, I'm going to be very discouraged when my natural hair starts growing and I realize it doesn't look like that. So you need to find realistic inspiration because you really want to be inspired and not discouraged in the end. And not that you should be because your hair is beautiful the way that it is, but you might be because you have some expectation and it's not being met. Keep inventory of that inspiration. Keep it mentally, physically, in your phone or on your computer. I've got some pictures kind of everywhere on my phone and in my computer of people who like cute hairstyles. I like the color, something like that. So tip number 14, to help keep you dedicated, keep a hair journal or something of that nature, like a hair diary. I have one on my computer. I started it, I think, in either 2012 or 2013. It might have been 2013. And I started with my whole hair journey from when I was a kid, and then I've kept updating it every couple months or so. And it's funny to look back and see what worked, what didn't work, what I thought was cute, and things like that. And I can look at some of my inspiration that I posted, like this is what I want my hair to look like, and then later I'll be like, my hair don't look like that. Believe it or not, it will actually help keep you dedicated. Because even if you do end up using heat for like 3 months and then you kind of think about it and you're like, oh, didn't I start that hair journey? And then you look at it and you read it and you're kind of, I definitely got inspired. I mean, I'm not just feeding you crap here. I got inspired again by looking at my hair diary. I wanted to keep dedicated to it. At some point, I obviously felt passionate about it enough to start a freaking diary. So why not just keep going? Tip number 15, use protein, but use it wisely. I think 2 years ago, when I still had relaxer in my hair, I have not touched it since. I used the Macadamia Deep Repair Hair Mask, I think is what it's called, and it up my hair. I mean, please excuse me, but I almost cried. It was a really painful experience. I slept with it in my hair because I thought, I didn't understand the difference between a mask and a deep conditioner. And now I know the difference, but then I didn't really know. So I slept with it in my hair, I washed it out, my hair felt like straw, and I wanted to lay down and die. Instead of using a deep conditioner to get it out, I just waited for it to get out. And that caused a lot of breakage, a lot of damage, and a lot of tears. Let's just be honest. Maybe I just shouldn't have slept with it in for like 9 hours. That was probably a really stupid idea. Unfortunately, you won't really know this until you experiment with your hair. I haven't experimented with protein in a really long time, to be honest with you, but I would advise you to kind of just test it out. Like, do it for 3 minutes. the next time do it for 5 minutes or something like that. Oh, I didn't mean to scare you. Sorry, Belle. So those are the tips I have for you guys. That's really all I've got for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful for some of you. I'm gonna clean my room because it's a pigsty. It's disgusting. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hates me.